Previously on the Song of the Summer. Well, last year, you may recall that we tried to pick the song in the summer. Everybody tried to pick the song in the summer. And then what happened was, this is the summer of 2025, that K-pop Demon Hunters came out in the middle of the summer, and the song Golden happened, and it was just clearly the dominating song. The problem was when people were trying to decide the song in the summer, they didn't know about Golden. Nobody ever even heard it. So we did a show last year where we talked about all the songs that maybe didn't qualify as Song of the Summer, but were wonderful songs, including Golden. We've decided to extend this tradition into the present, so Dylan Reyes and I have been combing through the songs that we loved this summer. You are going to hear a bunch of them. Maybe one of them will really click for you.
Never mind what you had, make your exes mad. Ooh, boo, boo, too bad. Hotter than a candle now. You deserve better now. Keep my baby warm, I'm your new Chanel sweater. I'm all in with the cash on the line. Let them know that the stakes is high. Yeah, baby, bankroll tall. Win, lose, or draw. Leave with it all. That's what happens when you bet on you. Yeah, that's what happens when you bet on you. I think you're going too hard. Showing your cards and that fall hard. That's what happens when you bet on you. Yeah, that's what happens when you bet on you.
What's my worksheet? It's at your price range. Check the tag straight from Texas, boy, I'm custom made. Come correct, cause you're rockin' to the queen. I want a king with a stretch on the Z. Yeah. I got an ass that make your eyes looking from right there. See you again when my soul come on, take the bed. Oh, I hold my weight and go. Step me up, but you know I don't fall. Yeah, you be doing the most, got all that, but you know you can't buy me. So tell me what's it gonna cost me.
Never mind what you had, make your exes mad. Ooh, boo, boo, too bad. Hotter than the kettle now. Yeah, baby, bankroll tall. Win, lose, or draw. Leave with it all. That's what happens when you bet on you. Yeah, that's what happens when you bet on you. I think you're going too hard. Showing your cards and that fall hard. That's what happens when you bet on you. Yeah, that's what happens when you bet on you. I bet.
All right, so first of all, try to remember that song because we're going to talk about it in just a second. But we have to explain to you what we are doing right now. And when I say we, I mean me and Dylan Reyes. He's our technical producer and the maestro and many other things besides. And so starting last year, Dylan and I enacted a tradition here. Well, it's now a tradition of 2 years running, where we will do a show at the end of the summer to kind of explore the music that didn't get featured that much on the radio. We do an official Song of the Summer show earlier in the summer, usually around June, where we try to figure out what will be the Song of the Summer. This one is kind of the makeup session for that. This is the one where the songs that we're talking about didn't really get considered, but we think they might have some value to you, or they might turn out to be your Song of the Summer, or I don't know. That's my explanation of what we're doing, but you might have a different one.
No, we're encouraging the fracturing of the monoculture. Everyone can have their own Song of the Summer, because for some it was mixed race summer, for some it was sad girl summer, and then for some it was just the normal fun summer. So we're encouraging you to burrow into your niche and not talk to anyone else, I think.
Well, I mean, I think we also have to acknowledge that there is a Song of the Summer. I think we got it wrong. I think we might
I got it right, but I'm not happy that I got it right.
Yeah, but I think on the show that we did, we kind of got it wrong. There is a Song of the Summer, but there's also everybody's different Song of the Summer, and that's what we're talking about right now. I'll just tell you a little bit about what you're just hearing there. It's called Bet on You. It's by Anderson .Paak. You also heard Chung Ha, a Korean sort of K-pop singer, basically. So Anderson .Paak is somebody who's been around a really long time, and I discovered him in 2019 when his career was already up and running. He did a song called King James that I was just blown away by.
We've been through it all, though it could be worse.
and I've kind of stayed with him. If you recognize his voice but don't know his name, you might have known him from Silk Sonic, the project he did, the kind of nostalgic R&B project that he did with Bruno Mars. He also makes a lot of stuff for movies now, and he's also making commercials for Lexus and Visa. So you hear his voice a lot of places. But it turns out that he's 1/4 Korean. It's a story that dates back to the war in Korea, and I believe his father was a serviceman who got his mother pregnant. I guess that's how babies are made. And
so they tell us.
Yeah, so they tell us. And as a result of that, it got more complicated. I think both he and his sister. I'm going to get it all wrong, but anyway, he's 1/4. He's 1/4 Korean, and he's just done a movie on Netflix to celebrate that, and it features some of these songs, and it's kind of a comedy. I think he and one of his sons kind of started these things out as YouTube videos and decided they were funny and made a movie. Anyway, that's the story. We're back to talking about the song. I don't know, Dylan, what's your thought here?
No, I think that this is, I mean, we opened last year with Anderson .Paak too. I'm always glad to open with Anderson .Paak. I know he's kind of like your R&B hero. I think I fall into the same bucket, like even from his work with the Free Nationals. I really like how his music making process has changed in the past couple years. I think post Silk Sonic, he's really sort of embracing this minimal groove style where it's just, I think in this particular song, it's just a kick drum and a ride cymbal out of his usual, like, he's known for being a drummer and for being able to sing while playing drums and be able to do both those things very well. And he is not chained to the drum set here to make the groove happen. There's a lot of ear candy that's happening all over the place that would make Chappie and I very happy. So I dig it, and it's the hippest Lexus commercial you'll ever hear.
Yeah, I wanted to do the family part right. His mother was part of the Korean War's baby boom, born in the country to a Korean woman and an African-American sailor in the U.S. Navy, abandoned in an orphanage with her brother, and later adopted by a black naval construction worker in Compton, California. And then she winds up having Anderson. To me, it was a song that could, make people get up and dance, or just dance around your apartment or your kitchen or whatever.
I mean, it was certainly working on me. That there's a lot of little production jokes that I just appreciate here. He calls out the hook being good, coming out of the like instrumental horn break, going back into the hook, and it's a good hook. He's right. You got to give it to him. Also, at the end of this on the album, there's like a little sketch. And I always appreciate that we can still sneak that in. We don't have to be totally serious on our albums.
Yeah, he's actually a pretty funny human being, I found in general. And I mean, in the Silk Sonic things, he was the one kind of perpetrating the jokes. And there's just something very infectious about his sense of humor. So that's our nomination number one. For some reason, the first segment are all nominations of mine. So let me just set this next one up. Okay, so this is a complicated choice for one particular reason, which is that this is probably my second favorite song that came out this summer. It's by an artist called Layla, ! She really likes exclamation points. She has one at the end of her name and elsewhere as well. The thing that makes it a little bit controversial is just, you'll hear it. It's this beautiful lilting song, but the last 5 notes of kind of what is sort of the hook of the song contain a compound word, which is one of the more verboten profanities out there. So, it's a great little resolution, and there's kind of a joke to that, I think. But anyway, as a result of that, I don't think it really got a lot of airplay on conventional radio. But here's Miss Mango. We'll hear a little bit of that.
You're Miss Mango, you got the juice. They say you got your mango, but he's on the loose. But nowadays, everybody's getting loose. We bump your favorite shoes. How much more can a girl lose? You're Miss Mango, you been had the juice. You never let his hand go, but he had to choose. Cause nowadays there's 1,000,001 pretty girls. You were the only one in his whole world. You were straight, you dyed your hair, you curled your body for him. I'm not here to make fun of you. I'm sorry he did that to you, yeah. You should try and fall
So before we hear from Dylan, let me do a tiny bit more storytelling, because I think there's two things that are going to come up on a couple of the cuts here. So she's sort of pop royalty. Her father is Mos Def, who now goes by Yassine Bey. That's one thing. You're going to hear some even more pop royalty a little bit later in the show. She's also, and I think you may disagree with me about this, but I think one of the things we're seeing right around now in 2026 is the tree that started during COVID, where a lot of young people were islanded, but they were sometimes islanded, particularly if their father was Mos Def. They might have been islanded with various kinds of production equipment so they can start messing around and discovering themselves a little bit. Yep. And Layla is definitely an example of that. She broke out on TikTok with the song Like That, also with an exclamation point. But I think that's a thing that happened, right? These artists are really maturing, coming into themselves right now.
Yeah, this is not even a thing that was necessarily isolated to this year. Again, thinking about last year, we had Stacey Ryan on the show. Stacey Ryan, who blew up for that TikTok trend where she had an unfinished song and she left a verse open for people to do with that what they will. You're seeing a lot of the, 3 or 4 years of getting interested, and even some of the artists we feature later on the show have the same trajectory. Got into it really during COVID, and now coming out like 5 years in are really in the throes of their career and are doing a good job. And I mean, this song, I want to go back a little bit. This segment is not just picks from this is a dual pick that I would have agreed on too, because I found this through the music video, because one of my friends sent it to me because they thought it was really funny, and it is funny. There's a lot of, I think that's what I really like about the song, is that it's just funny. Despite this kind of yearning, like you are better than this man theme lyrically, there's a lot of little moments like the Foley of smoking a joint or the cash register sounds. This is a funny song.
Yes, I think the coping mechanisms that are suggested are not entirely meant seriously. Or at least we can't recommend them on behalf of Connecticut Public.
No, that would get us in trouble with Lauren, I think.
Mr. Mango, that dude. Mr. Mango, that dude.
This song also helped me kind of solidify the two spectrums that songs are lying on for me this summer, which is, I'm trying to come up with non-cuss words. You
can just say F.
Yeah, F this man. We don't need him. We're going to have fun. There's a lot of songs on here that have the F it, we ball mentality, which, can prove to be problematic for a theme for Song of the Summer. But I think that this was really the summer where, we were in our feels. A lot of the songs that were charting well are really about, I can make myself happy on my own. And I think that is sort of summery, even though it's not romantic in the way that a traditional Song of the Summer would be.
I think also, Gen Z is probably not unique this way, or Gen Alpha now as well. But, last year you mentioned Stacey. Her song was "It's Good to Be Alone." Mm-hmm. Not everything has to be a love song. Not everything has to sort of figure everything out. That, like all generations before them, they're realizing sometimes it's good to be alone. Sometimes it's good to be with someone. Sometimes it's good to be rid of somebody. And there's a lot of other terrain you can travel around in there. All right, so we got two so far. We're about to go to my third one, basically. This is someone who started out as a country singer. She started out solidly in Nashville, and her name is Maggie Rose. That's not her real name. And I think she sort of transitioned. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on right now in music and pop music where, because of Lil Nas X and Shabuzi and other artists, you see hip-hop reaching out towards country. You see country performers reaching out to meet them halfway. And she's an example of that. She actually did it a few years ago with a kind of a Shabuzi-esque but pre-Shabuzi track called Laid Back by the country artist Dallas Davidson. Big Boy from Outkast is also on that track. So, she'd plotted her course here, basically. I would say this whole album is really good. It's called Half Moon by Maggie Rose. The whole album is really good, and it just kind of showcases her ability to write in different styles. There's a couple of songs that could have come out of Tin Pan Alley. This, however, is the one I think that does get you out on the dance floor. Before we play it, though, we want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, now I did not have the context that she came from Nashville and was a country artist. That makes a lot of sense with a lot of the particular small things that threw me off, because I went into the song blind. I mean, I think we played it once on the call show, but it just didn't stick. And so when I was listening to it again in preparation for this show, I really was trying to like it. It was like, I like this energy. I like where it's going. It's doing a lot of things right. But there was the thing that was bothering me the most is that the song starts at a 7 and it ends at a 9. And it's not that a song can't do that. It totally can, obviously. But for the style that it's coming into, which is the much discussed about, at least in our case, like Berkeley jazz school funk sort of thing that's going on here, you normally start a little smaller. And there's other little things too, like the snare is just like compressed to the living daylights out of it, so that every time that, Anderson .Paak like drops his stick on the snare, I think he's not on this, but every time anything is near the snare, it's like bam, same volume every time, and it can kind of detract from their ability to build.
I don't think we get a lot of people noticing that the snare is too compressed.
Yeah, I know. That's why that's
our boss Robin Doyen Aiken was ready to just go dancing based on hearing the song once.
Yeah.
I
the other thing I was going to say is that, like, because as much as I yapped about that particular gripe, I really do like this song. One of my real hopes for the real song of the summer was that Olivia Dean was going to go somewhere. And I just don't think any of her stuff really worked for me, particularly So Easy to Fall in Love. This is what that song should have been thematically.
Yeah. I think one problem for Olivia Dean is she's kind of timeless sounding. Like her sound could have worked in the 40s, 50s, 60s. So it's hard for her to nail summer of 2026. I mean, you could say that about a lot of people, but especially for her, she could have been a successful singer in almost any era, which is an incredible gift. But it's also a little bit of a burden if you're trying to nail a particular moment in time.
Certainly. All right. I think we've talked over this enough.
Yep.
This is Red Shoes from Maggie Rose. We'll be back after a short break.
Hi, this is Colin and Dylan. Before we play another song, we just want to say that, first of all, if you don't know, theoretically, numerically, heuristically, the song of the summer this year was "Choosing Texas" by Ella Langley. It's a country song. We won't be playing it today. We got it wrong. We thought it was "Drop Dead" by Olivia Rodrigo, and we did a show a few months ago. So what we're doing today is playing songs that we loved that could be your song of the summer, but you just didn't hear them, and now you're hearing them. I don't know. Do you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I think that, as we kind of alluded to in the previous segment, there is spaces when there is a gigantic song of the summer to have a song of the summer that is your song of the summer, because, I listen to a lot of country, more than I actually realized when I was getting ready for the first song of the summer show. And I already knew and was kind of aware that song, if not the song of the summer, was going to be big. But I also, when I was shopping that song around, I was getting a lot of reactions like, country, really? This is what we're doing? And so I know that the people exist out there that will not fill their cup. And actually, the kind of large offering of country songs that could have fit into the song of the summer category. It was not working for some people. So this is a different space. We've got a whole smattering of different options for you. And if you're looking for the links for any of the songs, you can always find them on our show post or at ctpublic.org/Colin. Let's jump back into some more picks.
Road isn't
Okay, welcome back. It's a Beautiful Life by Francis of Delirium. This is a song that, when we do these shows, I should say, Colin and I are here, the cranky guys who love music, to talk about what we think should have been Song of the Summer. And the most important aspect of this, because it's a subjective list that two people are putting together, is the song that was just stuck in your head. And honestly speaking, this song has just been nailed in there from the first time I heard it back in April, I think, on the radio. Were you able to listen to this before the show? Do you have any thoughts just from the opening?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I can understand why you like it. It has a lot of the qualities, I think, that entice you in a song. And I like it, too. I think it does have a Song of the Summer feel in the sense that, conceivably, if you didn't think too much about the content, you could dance to it. I just think it's beautifully produced, got a great beat structure, terrific vocal. What's not to like?
It's so this is the last track off of the album Run Run Pure Beauty, and the whole thing straight down is like this. This is the most like straightforward rocky, which is why I think it got the most music play. But and I think we'll talk about this on another song later in the show. The context that this falls into the album really sells it for me. But we don't get to count that because this is just about the song. There's one song that can stand on its
although
own.
we've said a couple of times when we were talking about Phoebe Bridgers last week.
Yeah.
I think increasingly artists are getting back to the idea that they would really like it if you would be willing to listen to an entire album and understand the interconnectedness of it.
And some of them are only doing they're doing 10-song albums in 31 minutes. It's not like it's even a huge time investment. But this is, I think, one of the examples for me from the summer that really stuck out. Just to not to get too into the weeds here, just from the get-go, that vocal line that you heard at the top of the song where she sings Beautiful Life in those 4 chords, that's the chord structure for the entire song. She's just spoiled the whole thing for you. But I feel like the song is a song that does not overstay its welcome. It just is, it keeps going, and you never, I don't want to say you never want more, but it gives you everything that you want in a package that is very concise. I think the thing that's holding it back is, it's kind of dour in tone. I mean, one of the best lyrics to scream along to is impermanent bliss, incomprehensible death.
Undo the buttons, unzip the dress, impermanent bliss, incomprehensible death. I'm burned out in my tire. It's a beautiful life.
That gets some of the. I will say this about the stuff that you're saying, sort of the musicological stuff that you're saying. Most people listening to this song are thinking, "Wow, Trader Joe's makes really good potato chips." I mean, they are not realizing that the chord structure kind of tips off the whole rest of the song. That's a kind of hell that you have to live in because you know too much about music.
No, it's a fun Easter egg. I like it. This stuff brings me joy. And I'm hoping that it, provides a new perspective to a song that you haven't heard any before. I'm also thinking, is there any good examples on the Song of the Summer charts where a rock song, just like a straight rock song, did really well? Because I think that's the other thing that is stands out here, is that this is just a straightforward rock song.
Yeah, I thought rock was over, but apparently not. But that's good news.
Yeah.
I made that up. I didn't really think that rock was over. But it's something that you could say and people wouldn't necessarily dispute it.
People believe you because of the discourse.
Yeah.
All right. Unless you have anything else you want to move on?
Nope.
All right. So this next song is also a pick of mine. I'm interested to hear I don't want to talk it up too much. This is off of Leon Bridges' new release. It is being produced between him and the members of the group Jungle and their side project Loaded Honey. This is Illusion. This is the 3rd track, and just get into it.
Hands high, can't stop me living. Woke up, face down in the river. Straight up, no light in the prison. Make love to the rhythm. It's an illusion. What are we doing now? It's an illusion. I can see you now. They got you loaded,
So this song actually, it violates the commissioner, Brendan J. Sullivan's rule of you got to get to the good thing in the first 30 seconds. Because I think where the song really starts to get comfortable is at 40 seconds, where you hear the people singing around you and the song kind of opens up a little bit. But I think it's worth getting there, and I think that the bass line that it opens with gets there, because it's like, I don't know, you like Latin-ish stuff. I want to hear what you're thinking.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say Jungle has put out a pretty good album. I think it just dropped.
Yes.
I think it's called Sunshine. Yes. And actually, there was a cut from that I was thinking about maybe for this conversation. So they were going to get... I also want to say I have a slight problem of Leon overload. There's Leon Bridges and Leon Thomas, and they're not different enough so that I'm not occasionally confused. I think Leon Thomas did a song called My Muse that I really liked.
My Muse was also going to be on my list for this show, but I think it just came out too long ago.
It's kind of a winter song. I think what you're getting at and what you're asking me about, I think I've heard over the last 2 or 3 years a lot of efforts to take what we used to call like world music, and kind of make it into and kind of Americanize it a little bit more, so that it's a little bit more sellable to the large, music buying, to the extent that anybody's buying music, music buying American public. That's kind of what I hear that a lot, and I hear it here. This absolutely could be Latin, but also really there's a lot of African sound in there too. So to me, it's kind of this, this kind of pan world sound that I think is, and we'd all be better off if people danced at weddings to music that sounded like this, and they'd be happier going home in the car.
Yeah, I think that, first off, Leon Bridges is from Houston, and that is all the context I have. I don't know what his past is. I think I heard in an interview before that he has Latin roots. Maybe I'm totally hallucinating that. And if I am, I cut this part out. Future Dylan here. I was wrong. Leon Bridges was born in Atlanta, raised in Fort Worth in a religious house that actually he was forbidden to listen to secular music. I encourage you to just take a few minutes to go find his story somewhere, because it is very fascinating. Okay, back to it. It's just, so for people who are familiar with Leon Bridges' work, which I am, I've been circling around him for a long time, where the radio station I listen to for music, I'll hear a Leon Bridges song and I'll be like, oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that. I'll save it and it'll go onto my my new finds playlist, which is how I've started tracking new music over the past year. I was going through and looking through some of the other Leon Bridges stuff, and I was like, wow, this is really a departure. I think that's why it stuck out for me, that particularly in his catalog of quieter, moodier songs, this one really grabbed me as, oh, that could get people on the dance floor, because that rhythm just never stops the whole time. Even though, like the last song, I kind of all grouped the really sad songs together in one segment topically, but this, if you listen, this song's pretty depressing. And in that way, his topics haven't really changed from the moodier stuff, but I think that this is much more approachable as a radio listener.
I think also a lot of artists are typically being true to themselves, and trying to, produce the kind of music that they would want to listen to and that they would want to make. But in the back of their minds, there are also a lot of questions about who's the audience going to be. And that's one of the reasons I think that this is a very interesting project, a way of kind of synthesizing, I think pretty effectively, a bunch of different musical styles. But, we were talking before the show about Casey Musgraves. Casey Musgraves, who is now in the odd position of having been this really kind of crossover country artist, but now there are all these girls named Ella and Stella and Mella and Bella, and they're all charting higher than her, and they're country artists, and they're way more popular than Casey Musgraves probably thinks they should be compared to her anyway. And she's struggled this year. She's put out a lot of music that doesn't sound very much like country music, which probably was a good way to alienate her existing audience without acquiring a new one.
So can I ask you a question? Because this is another story I'm not familiar with. Casey Musgraves just appeared on the radio one day, and I was just off put by it. Did she start in country, or did she come to country? Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, she started in country, and she was also married for a long time too, or maybe for a short time, to the former bad boy of country, Rustin Kelly. But they've both very, very tuned into, the earliest roots of country, very aware of Johnny Cash and June Carter and people like that too. So, by the way, Rustin Kelly's Face Plant, which is probably another song we shouldn't play on the air, I do recommend it to people.
Just one last thought on Casey Musgraves before we move on. For people that are, for a couple of my friends that have expressed this to me, that they listen to a Casey Musgraves song and they're like, it's good. The lyrics are good. It just, something feels weird about it. And I think it's because the particular aspects of, bringing country towards hip hop that she embraced, I don't think were the right ones. Because there was that, I'm trying to find radio-friendly words. There was that particular crossover between Morgan Wallen and Tate McRae last summer that we had to listen to for some reason. That I think that was, I guess, the closest I've heard to a good, true meshing of the genres, because they left their vocal processing styles kind of the same, and they just buried it in a really loud song with hip hop drums and stuff. And I think that worked. But Casey is doing instrumentally just a straightforward country song, but her vocals sound really processed in hip hop. And I think it puts people off. That's all I had to say. All right. That's enough opining. Let's hear a little of your next pick.
I've been waiting for the hurting to stop. I've been waiting for the punchline to drop. Anytime I hear the music we played, I dissolve into a puddle of rain. I've been playing down the way that I feel.
All right. So the last song in this segment, this is a ballad. I wasn't really sure, about ballads here, except that this one kind of got inside my head and my heart and my lungs and my stomach, and so I couldn't get it out of there. It's by an artist named Beth Orton. She's, I think, by far the oldest person whose work we're playing today. She's 55 years old, and was part of this London-based indie scene in the 1990s. Think Everything But the Girl. Madonna got kind of obsessed with her, tried to sign her to Madonna's own label. And she always had a kind of quirky vocal delivery, but as you'll hear on this song, something else has happened to her voice. She has Crohn's disease, which can involve a lot of surgery and pain and ER visits, and I'm wondering if maybe that's part of it. To me, it has made this song the kind of broken, slightly fuzzy sound of her voice lends a lot of poignance to the material that she's delivering right here. And at a certain point in the song, a kind of jazz trumpet kind of comes in, and it's being played in this muted, slightly murky, slightly broken sound. And the emotional progression of the song is from the agony of waiting to the pleasure of dancing into the place that you were waiting to get into. And for me, this all comes together. I think you found it a somewhat puzzling choice.
So I found it a puzzling choice because I didn't have the context. I had also experienced this first on the radio, and I did not, regrettably, I didn't know who Beth Orton was. I was not familiar with any of this work, so I just heard a song that I was trying to figure out the story without having any of the story, and now having that context, it makes a lot of sense. I did not think that. There you very clearly hear with her voice the, just the pain that she's in. And I knew that there was a good reason that they would be playing it. And I think with all that context, it starts working for me. Because since you explained that.
The video is kind of cool, too. I mean, it's just sort of the video of the recording session, but it's also kind of a little bit fuzzy, and there's, some kind of...
It's warm, and it's muted, and nothing's really sharply in focus.
I just want to say one last little piece of trivia. She's married to an American musician, I think considerably younger than her, named Sam Amidon, who had, in 2007, put out an album with one of the greatest album titles ever. But This Chicken Proved False-Hearted. That's the name of the album. That's just a great album title. All right, the song is Waiting. Here's Beth Orton.
And if I could be anywhere, I'm right here by your side. If there wasn't nothing, now I love the place and time. If I could be anywhere, I'm right
All right, we are back. That's If I Let You by the Womack Sisters. Well, we can still hear the groove. I'm just saying a quick thank you to Lily Tyson, Quality Entertainment Productions, who helped me put together this hootenanny.
I'd also like to thank the North Korean government for letting us use this recording studio, which used to be ours. We lease it to them now. I think they mainly use it for interrogations, but thanks for disinfecting it and cleaning it up, guys. It's great to be back here.
I could have done without the handcuffs, but I'm doing okay. All right, so let's talk through this real quick. If you're not familiar, Daptone Records is the record label of bassist, bandleader, producer Bosco Mann, who has been around Sharon Jones and Amy Winehouse and, you know, all of the big, like, soul revival icons that you can think about. It's him, and it's his record label, and this is their most recent offering from the summer. They had 2 great releases, one with Jane Naganda, Doctrine of Love, that we both considered for this list.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you just ignored everything that we said for this entire show and just focused on Doctrine of Love, which we're not using on this show, and listened to the whole thing, you wouldn't be cheated too much anyway. It really is a terrific album, and we've been all over it all year. Yeah,
and both of those records ended up stuck in my head all summer. I just found this one day while we were waiting for I think we were waiting for calls to start. I was just scrolling through music, and I was like, this looks interesting, because I liked the visuals. And I saw it was from Daptone, and I just kind of assumed that it would be good. And I was absolutely floored. This is I think this is going to be one of my records of the year.
We should say, if we haven't said it yet, they're the granddaughters of Sam Cooke. Talk about, it's one thing to have most stuff be your father. That's pretty cool. Be the granddaughters of Sam Cooke and with the nieces of
Bobby Womack.
Yeah. And so my question about it initially was, I liked it right away, but my question was, is it just a restatement of kind of the music that they grew up listening to? Or is it new enough? Does it, in fact, make a difference enough or special enough? It doesn't have to be different, but special enough statement. I kind of come around to the idea that, yes, it does. Like, if you played it to a bunch of baby boomers, they would go, oh, yeah, I think I heard that song in high school, But on the other hand, I don't know. Tell me how you're thinking about it, at least in that sense. Is it 2026 enough?
Yeah, I think that this is certainly... that's a good point, because I could just close my eyes and see this get dropped into the 60s and it's still working. But there's little pieces that, just because I am familiar with the history of recording, that they've gone back to, I think on purpose, to make it sound like that. I think that's kind of their intention. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening to this not in your car, or even if you're in your car, you might have noticed that the song started on the right side of the car, and then you heard some percussion on the left side of the car, and then there was the vocals just right in the middle.
If I let you.
That's a style of production that went away kind of with the Beatles, because back in the day, stuff was either in your left ear, in your right ear, or right down the middle. And it's kind of hard for me to say that this is trying to. I think the material, the lyrical material, is really where it lies in the modern day. Their lead single off the album, Chauffeur, is about how much it sucks and how lonely you can be working as a rideshare driver. Like, I think that other places on the album, it's really clear that this is, this is what if the people of the 60s had our problems.
Yeah. Well, also, I'm guessing Sam Cooke was, and probably Bobby Womack too, were both underpaid compared to other white artists, and maybe the royalty checks are just not really. Maybe they're having to do a little Uber stuff now and again. But they're terrific, the Womack sisters. In case you missed the title of the group. So are we ready to move on here? Or?
Yeah, I think let's slide on.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna. Now I'm just waiting on a text from you saying that you can slide if you want to. Tonight if you want to. I'll be on my way to you. Straight on my way so we can grind if we want to. All night if you want to. Just come on baby. Come on baby, yeah. All of my life I've seen something underneath. Every single lover telling themselves something ain't working.
frustability. I think it's all gone. Love been pulling me down like gravity. Usually it's just when they don't know how to love, and the other just don't know how to trust. And this room created for people like us, oh Lord.
So this is an artist named Isaiah Huron. Both, I think, Dylan Reyes and I both like this song.
Oh yeah.
And we most of these songs we've used on the show, usually on a Monday. And this does feel like this very I don't think he was in a big studio. I think he was maybe recording at home or somewhere like
in his bedroom.
In his bedroom or something, yeah. But it's got, I mean, it really is, there's a lot of music out right now that is clearly kind of R&B, soul inflected, but also seems kind of aware of jazz chords at times or jazz vocal stylings. I would put this, Destin Conrad is another person we've been playing a bunch on the show who's very much like that. I would put this in there somewhere. And of course, the other thing about this is, if we're going to say this is R&B or whatever we're going to say, all through this album or EP or whatever it is, he uses a lot of acoustic guitar, which I would say you don't hear that much in this kind of song. And the last thing I'll say before I turn it over to you, I'm not saying this is the song of the summer, but it could be somebody's song of the summer. I could see it being the thing that it was the little touchstone that they used to remember summer of 2026.
Absolutely. There's a... Going back to the very top of the show when we were talking about minimal groove, or I was talking about minimal groove, this has the same style of minimal beat that Anderson .Paak was using. There's really not a lot, and that leaves all that space for the acoustic guitar to not just function as harmonic, like someone strumming chords, but it's rhythmic too. Like that's part of what works in driving the song forward across the whole EP, which after we used this song on the show, I went and listened to the whole EP just because I wanted more. I thought, this would probably be good in context. I didn't realize that this is, like I mentioned earlier with Beautiful Life, this is the last song on the EP, and the whole, I really don't want to spoil it, but it is about the EP is called Mr. Love Bomb, and it certainly tells that story extremely well. I highly recommend you go listen to it, because then you'll come to this song at the end, and it stands great on its own. Like, it's a beautiful life. But man, when you put it in context, it is so powerful.
Yeah, and interestingly, he grew up in a sort of very church environment. His father was a pastor. His mother was a choir director. And that was the kind of music he was exposed to initially. And I think you still hear a little bit of gospel threading through there.
Yeah, shall we move on to our last pick?
Yes, I think we need to.
Slide if you want to.
Life has been a little crazy lately, wouldn't you say so?
Alrighty, so this transformed into my favorite song on the list. I don't know how this did. This is a pick of yours, so why don't you set it up?
Well, so Catherine Priddy, when I first heard her, is Priddy, by the way. When I first heard her, I assumed she was Irish. She's actually from Birmingham, England. This is from an album that, to go back to a theme earlier in the show, she really wants you to listen to the whole album. This isn't even close to her big bomb song. I mean, she released 5 cuts as singles. This song, Serious, was not one of them, but we've both focused it on a little bit. Explain why you think that is.
So this is another song that breaks the commissioner's rule of 30 seconds, but as I was getting ready for the show, and even kind of since we used it on the radio, and I've heard it on a couple stations that I listen to, I just walk around and I'm going, damn it. It's like it gets you, the way the chorus is built just gets in your head over and over and over. And this song very effectively shifts back and forth between minor and major in a way that I don't think you'd notice unless you were really sitting down to try and pay attention to it. And it's just a really sweet song.
She's also another product of the COVID lockdown. That's where she kind of perfected her sound during that time. To me, she's covered some Nick Drake stuff with some other British musicians. To me, I hear the Nick Drake music and influence in a really good way.
Yeah, I think that this song is so sweet. Life has kind of been difficult for a lot of people for a lot of reasons, and it's just it's when you listen to the words, it's really about that, like, even though that you feel like you're in this horrible moment where everything is going wrong and you don't feel like you're doing anything for anybody and you kind of feel worthless, that someone out there is looking to you and you're their inspiration and you have no idea. I don't know. I needed that.
Catherine Pretty, by the way, wants you to listen to the whole album. The song Matches, which is about burning witches, is maybe not quite as elevating in the way that Dylan was just describing. But I mean, she's against burning witches, but still, if you have to say that, there's a problem. But anyway, I think the other thing we'd like to do, just as we come to the end here, is say that, music and summer, it's kind of a special relationship. And there are songs that you'll remember 2 or 3 years from now. You'll go, oh yeah, summer of 26. We might not have played any of those songs, but you should try to be conscious of the ones that really do work for you, right?
Yep, absolutely. And there you have it. 9 offerings from us to you that could have been Song of the Summer. We hope that you found something you liked here. You can always get the full list of music that we use on the show, not just for the show, but for every show, on our show post at ctpublic.org/Colin. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Take it away.